Previously on Going Round, I set out to see if I could walk the Isle of Wight coastal path eating only wild food that I found and foraged along the way. I feel like a bloody tortoise.
Wizard Sam.
It's safe to say things didn't quite go to plan.
Sewage has just been pumped out into the ocean.
Get me out of this woods! This is not good. Hello, I'm currently in Cowes, having made some very questionable decisions over the last couple of hours. So when you saw me last, I was in a really quite bad way.
I honestly don't know whether I've got the last half a mile in me.
Just sort of like drifting in and out of sleep whilst walking. And I managed to get myself to the ferry terminal, and the bloke, he asked me if I was all right, and then said that there was a coffee machine inside. So I went and treated myself to a coffee and some sugar. The challenge is over, I think, but I got to get round. I realised that if I carried on walking, the first floating bridge, the first chain ferry from East Cowes to West Cowes was at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'd have to wait in East Cowes for like 3 hours in the middle of the night, which I wasn't particularly into. So I got a bus into the centre of the island, and then I got a night bus out. And let me tell you, sitting in that bus station, listening to everyone fight whilst wearing Santa hats. Absolutely insane. But it's now about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm wandering through a deserted Cowes, and I'm just going to carry on. If there's a place that I can sleep, I might stop for an hour's rest, but I am in a considerable amount of pain, as you can probably tell by the way that I'm walking, and I'm just going to see how far I can get. Wish me luck. I don't think I'm injured. I think maybe I've just cooled down a little bit too much. My feet are wet, my legs hurt. But it is an absolutely beautiful night. It's perfectly clear. The Solent's like a mill pond. Haven't seen any shooting stars yet, but there is still time. What a time to be alive. One of these drains is making a noise straight out of a horror movie. Can you hear that? Ominous. Oh, it has been a long day. No sleep, minimal food. So the sleeping bag is out. I'm going to bed down for an hour, 2 hours potentially, and just get a little bit of shut-eye before carrying on the walk. Stay tuned to find out what happens in the next episode. Roll the trailer. I love this place. This week I explore the beautiful estuaries and coastline of the west of the island. It's better condition than the ones that we were eating yesterday. We find some of the most delicious mushrooms in the world. And I find myself in quite a scary situation.
I've found my limit.
The gorse bushes are starting to look like people. Good morning. Not gonna lie, slept pretty solidly, but my feet are cold now. So I really need to get up and get moving again. But I just assessed the blister on my left foot. Check it out. All coming off. It's got bits of grit in it and everything. Absolutely disgusting. Shoes are moist. Good morning and welcome back to Fieldstudy. It is day 2 of the Round the Island Wild Food Challenge. Last night I managed to get a couple of hours sleep here on Cowes seafront, and this morning I'm heading west. And what a morning it's been so far. I woke up here and there were still stars out, so I was looking for shooting stars from my sleeping bag. I saw a seal. So yesterday, I failed. My intention was to walk around the Isle of Wight eating nothing but wild food, and it soon became apparent that that was not possible for me for many different reasons. So I'm disqualifying myself from the challenge. Most of it's due to preparation. My body is not ready for this at this time of year. I had a sausage roll. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
That was Sausage Roll Gate. If you haven't seen the previous episode, go back and watch it. Yesterday was intense and I have severely blistered my foot, like really bad. The flesh is sort of flapping off it, but all good fun, eh? And little did I know that dehydration and the salty air had made my lips red raw. So it made me look like I was wearing lip gloss for the rest of the day. Fun. Those arbitrary rules that I sat down and set for myself have actually enabled me to do what I've done so far, and all of that adventure that I had yesterday. Today we're still going to be foraging as we go along, but I am not holding myself to the challenge as rigorously as I was previous. I'll be coming back to the Wild Food Challenge in a few months' time. However, my head is now on adventure mode, and I'm excited about what story is going to unfold before me on the path. Let's hope my feet hold out. Come on then. Remember, this is not an in-depth identification guide. Always make sure you are 100% confident in your identification before picking or consuming any wild plant or fungi. This path's closed as well, which means that the diversion goes up this road. So if any of you are feeling inspired to do this, this diversion in Gurnard goes quite far inland, so don't lose hope. Cockerel. There was a bloke down the road that assured me that this goes through some beautiful little copses, so hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be some mushrooms. Mushrooms for breakfast, anyone? This is a cool plant. So this spiky leaved fella here is a plant called butcher's broom, which looks and feels a little bit like holly. It's really sort of tough and spiky, but it's not. It's actually in the same family as asparagus, weirdly, but you can't eat this as like a steamed vegetable. It's very, very spiky. However, it does have a food use. The plant itself is mildly toxic, but what they do over in Tunisia is they take the seeds from the inside of the fruit. It's got 2 seeds on the inside, and they roast them at a specific temperature, which gets rid of the toxicity and also makes an excellent coffee-like drink. So there are the spiky leaves and those little red berries that hang off of them. If you've ever seen asparagus go to seed, it also has them strange little red berries on. And that is butcher's broom. It likes it on these clay oak forests that we have on the north side of the island. Isn't that a surreal sight? It is a gorgeous morning. We're meant to be getting weather coming in later that could hit tonight and make it a little bit of a soggy one. But right now, this is stunning walking weather. Glorious. The road out in front of me like a river of mercury. The remains of some sort of bracket fungus up there on that tree. If we look down in here, there's definitely some remains of something. It looks to me to be, again, dryad saddle. More proof that if I wasn't so indecisive and had just done this a week ago, then I may have had an easier time of it. Absolutely kicking myself. It's times like this, like I know for a fact that these oak woods on either side of the road here produce quite a lot of fungi. However, because I need to get a certain amount of distance in before the sun sets, so I'm not walking on the road in the dark, it means that I can't go off and explore. As soon as I radioed my partner Abby this morning, telling her that the nature of the mission had changed, she was straight out with supplies, bless her. Hi.
Are your feet wet?
Hello, Fern. Yes, feet are wet. Because I am convinced that somewhere between here and the finish line is a story worth telling. All I have to do is keep the pace. So we are back on the coastal path. I've taken a little detour via the road. So once we get past this section, it becomes much more rural again. And I'll be glad of it, to be honest. Almost took me bloody legs out. And then we're out into the west, Wight, the least inhabited side of the island, with its dramatic coastline and little coves and stuff. And I cannot wait, after last night's slog, watching drunk people fight each other. I will be glad to be away from the road, out in the peace and quiet. But I guess to truly love a place, you've got to love all bits of it. You know what I mean? And there is something quite funny about someone that's 12 pints in, looking round at their mate really, really serious, whilst wearing a Santa hat saying, "We have to leave now." Look at this, day 2. We got some little crab apples, man. Look at that, bumper crop of crab apples just there on the floor by the side of this road. These are in much better condition than the ones that we were eating yesterday. I've just put a few of them in my pocket. So the crab apple, the reason that we're finding them at this time of year in the middle of winter is because they contain a lot of acid and a lot of tannin, which sort of acts like a preservative. It also means that they can be sour and sometimes a bit bitter. This one's actually all right, you know. Oh my goodness. I can't tell because it's just got some sugar in it. Or whether it's actually really delicious, but that is really quite complex and lovely. I don't want to eat too many of them because it could give me a bit of an upset stomach. There's a little pick-me-up, a little boost. That is a welcome find. Terrifying. This avenue of oaks in the marshland that we're walking down now leads to one of my favourite places on the island, and that is Newtown Creek, which is managed by the National Trust. And it is a mixture of low estuary and stone houses and these sort of spindly oaks growing from the wetland. It's a place with real atmosphere. This one sounds a bit sarcastic. Ganoderma. What kind? Cool. The thing that's becoming apparent and what I'm learning this time round is that I need to start taking care of myself a bit. So it's my birthday on Monday, one of the shortest days of the year. And it's becoming apparent over the course of this walk that in many ways I am not in my 20s anymore. I'm going to be 33, so I wanted to fit this in before my birthday. And I know lots of you out there will be watching this being like, you're still a kid or whatever. But it is true that your 30s are not your 20s. That is a very true fact. And not to take the health and fitness that I have for granted, because I now know that unlike when I was a slightly younger man, I can't just drop everything and go further than anyone else, because that was always my way. But I found out in the last couple of days that that might not be the case forever. I'm starting to feel it, or at least it's going to take a little bit more work on my part. So that's a really valuable lesson. And it's possibly the best thing about walking, especially distance, and not going home and not having to be anywhere at any specific time, is that it gives your brain space to stretch out. I think as Virginia Woolf said, your brain stretches out to fill the landscape or something. And you can certainly feel it. After a certain amount of time when you're out walking, the rhythmic sound of everything and the consistencies of discomfort in your feet, and you know, is when you can do some of your best learning. The water just came over the top of these shoes. My left foot, the one with the blister. I'm definitely going to need to clean that when I stop. Don't let me forget. I love this place. Oak-lined estuary with all its salty marsh plants and so much joy here. The excitement when I saw my first osprey just over there. Me and my partner used to come here for picnics and fall asleep in the front of the car with the sun in our face. It's a good place. I can't tell you how much I want to dip my feet in that water right now. So just down this estuary a little bit is a campsite which we used to go camping at when we were in Scouts. It's a Scout campsite. There's this jetty that goes out into the middle of the creek, and we used to spend the evenings on the jetty dangling lines over the edge trying to catch crabs and watching fish jump in the moonlight. And then every year we used to have a raft race. And we were the underdogs, right? No one liked my Scout group, really. It's probably why it's not there anymore. But we used to build a raft. One year, we got this guy called Tom to, he brought some flippers with him, and then he grabbed onto the back of the raft and propelled it. We used him like an outboard engine. There were no rules against it. We won, but we weren't allowed to win. But there's some minor victory in upsetting the bureaucracy of it all. And leaning into being unloved by people. It's quite funny. And then, of course, because we were Scouts, we used to ceremonially burn the raft on the foreshore of the creek, which is probably very environmentally unsound, and I don't condone it, but, you know, we were kids and it was the past. So, some forgiveness there. They were good days. It's one of the things about moving home to the landscape I grew up in after being away for so many years, is the fact that that happened 1.5 miles down this creek that way. And the atmosphere and the feeling of the place is the same. It means that I can come and sit here on a gorgeous December Saturday morning and I can inhabit those memories as if they were yesterday. It's a beautiful thing. Sit rep. So, as I said earlier, Abby has been and given me a food parcel so I can carry on this journey, and it's becoming more apparent as to why I need to. There we go. 1 sandwich, 2 hard-boiled eggs, a Bounty bar, a parcel of lamb, and a banana. The packed lunch of an 80-year-old man. So I may have thrown in the towel looking for wild food for my sustenance, but I've ended up finding something else. So let's carry on. Some more beautiful pennywort down there. It is right in the dogweed zone. Back on the road again. That is a gorgeous church there. It's the site of quite a large and significant Anglo-Saxon burial on the island. I have to say I'm sort of tempted to stay for the carol service. Do you reckon if I sung well enough they'd give me a bed for the night? Or does that sort of thing only happen in books? This bit here can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you look at it on a map, because we have had to come quite a way inland because of that estuary at Newtown. And now, you guessed it, we have to go back to join the coast. So you almost end up doubling back on yourself in order to meet the shoreline. So if you are tired and you are hungry and your feet are absolutely sodden, it can be a little bit frustrating. But I'm trying to quell my frustration because I know that that woodland there on the horizon is absolutely beautiful, and there are pockets of it that are well worth it. It is one of my favourite places. I rarely ever visit it. Keeps it special, I think. That's not confusing at all. So many arrows. So I think what it's trying to say is the path in which we sort of double back on ourselves and get to the shoreline is not there anymore. Maybe. Closed section. That's that. And then it says coastal path diversion, where I've come from, and then up the road. All the other years that I've done it, you go through that beautiful woodland over there. But yeah, no, I guess we're just carrying on straight up the hill. My word. You've never seen legs stiffer than this. This is my walking gait at the moment and has been for ages. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Come on! This is the longest road imaginable. Oh, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Once again, I have drunk the last of my drinking water. So I am holding out hope that there is something for me to fill it up in Yarmouth, which is the next big town. I haven't drunk enough today at all. It's looking like tonight could be another big night marching through the darkness. I knew the gamble would pay off. Oh, no, no, no. Pride comes before a fall, Joseph. I've just completely soaked that sock. A lesson in humility, probably, right. Can you see that? So here, growing out of this coniferous stump, we have Sporassis crispus, or a cauliflower fungus. Now, I've found quite a few of these this year. These are a choice edible, and yeah, it's been a hell of a year for them. I think there's another one over there as well. Oh, smell gorgeous, man. So this is a choice edible fungus, and this is coming with us. This is a meal in itself. And if I add that lamb that Abby gave me as a gift, we've got a dinner on our hands, everybody. So this has really saved the day. If you want to know how to identify this mushroom, it's really beginner friendly, and there is a video on my YouTube channel that I will put up in the corner of the screen now. So click that if you want to identify this mushroom. The only thing is that cleaning this is going to be a bit of a nightmare. What's a bit of dirt among friends? I've eaten worse off of them apples yesterday. Thank you, tree stump. I would say that's put some pep in my step, but the less said about the way I'm walking right now, the better. You ever seen that film, It Follows? Hobble away shots are really getting on my nerves. I feel like everyone says that in a walking video. So unfortunately, we're going to miss out on some of the best bit of the coastal path where you get to walk along the shoreline at Hampstead. This is sort of managed by the National Trust. There's all sorts of cool things there, like Crambe maritima, sea kale, the thing that we didn't collect yesterday in Ventnor. But we are somewhere here, and we need to be heading in this direction. So what I'm going to do is go down S1 here, and then go down S2 towards the coast, and then hopefully that will put me back on that woodland track there on the coastline. I'm in love with this mushroom. Ah. A wave of it just came over me, and you'll understand this if you spend a lot of time outside. Usually for me, it's somewhere in day 2 where the brain goes quiet and you know you've been outside. It's the ultimate serenity, man. this is the best gift of all. So my girlfriend Abby is a very understanding soul, and she's gifted me this window of time as a bit of a birthday gift. I'm sure I'll have to make up for all of the parenting that I've missed when I get back. But it feels good to have a reset, I think. So it's the greatest gift of all. And I am eternally grateful. Abby, if you watch this far, thank you. I love you. Even if I did radio you a minute ago and you called me a loser when I went, Sporassus crispus. But, you know, still love you. Wowee. Lovely hedge. That is a hedge and a half. There's someone that owns such a stately hedge, technically called a hedge lord. Top marks for that gate there. Lovely bit of hazel work. Mud. Now I don't want to jinx it, but I think I'm having a second wind. I took a painkiller. My legs feel freer, which is good. And we're reaching the time of the day where the blood from my blister has matted the sock together and dried somewhat, so it isn't slipping up and down. So less pain there. The sock has become me. The sock is a part of me now. So yeah, we're doing good. We are going to go through this bit of woodland here as it skirts along the cliff top, and we're going to see if there's any mushrooms about to add to our cauliflower fungus. Another day, another landslip. Look at that. You can see all of the oaks on the corner there, sort of all frizzy. And then here, if we look down here, we've got birch trees and stuff sort of starting to spring up. They are pioneer species. They don't really mind disturbed soil, and they don't really need much to grow. What they do is they create an excellent mulch of leaf litter. Birch leaves are ever so slightly more alkaline than some others, which is good for the growth of lots of understory plants. So we often find, especially going back into, you know, prehistory, when ice caps have receded, birch is a species which pops up before most other things can colonize. Also, you see things like bramble popping up, and the edges of those where some light can get in are really good as a nursery for other plants like taller trees. So what they do is they stop grazing animals like ruminants grazing the seedlings when they're really young, which means that they can reach a height where they can sustain a bit more damage. Bramble does that on the edges of new woodlands. You often find birch and bramble in landslip areas like this. See that beautiful silver birch there, and the way this land has fallen. If I've learned anything over the last 48 hours, it's not to go too near the edge. This is fine though, right? Hold on, Hazel, I'm coming to get you. There's a book called After London, which was a bit ahead of its time, which sort of charts what would happen to the British countryside if humans left. And it goes through all of the different stages. It's really cool. And one of them is the brambles in the hedgerows overtaking the roads. So that's where you get rabbits. Rabbits nibble the edges of brambles. Brambles spread themselves into those thick mats by sending out runners. Rabbits nibble those runners off because they are quite nutrient dense, and the rabbits don't particularly mind the tannic qualities, the bitterness, and they keep the bramble in check. You can always tell how healthy a rabbit population is in an area, which can also tell you things about like predation, disease, the health of an ecosystem by what's happening with the bramble runners. Everything's connected. Look at that guy with his arms reached out towards the sky. No way, look at that. I knew this woodland would produce. Man. Oh, just in the nick of time as well. This down here is, hopefully, we turn it over, a beautiful bluet. Look at that violet colour. I think there's another one hiding in here. Oh, shall we look? Skinnier stem. Yes, there we go. There is another one. Slightly paler, the coloration on this one, but I know that this is a bluet. too. Man, I could have guests round. Whoa! And some more little ones over here. Look, there's a little cluster underneath this young gorse bush. I'm gonna try and get that one. Look at you. Oh man, it is kicking. Oh, this is so good. I'm gonna have to have some for breakfast as well. Yes, look at that guy. Look how full our mushroom bag is. It's this twilight though, even though they are sort of like a beautiful violet colour, in this sort of half light, they can be quite hard to spot, especially for a boy that accidentally left his glasses at home 2 days ago. If you want to learn about foraging for wild food, book on one of our courses or check out the links in the description below. And I knew it would be worth the wait. Just been clambering around here in a spot that I usually come to see if there were any hedgehog fungi. And we have this lovely specimen. It's got a few holes in it, but that is dense and meaty. It's called a hedgehog fungus because it's got these spines under the cap instead of gills. Hello and welcome back to Fieldstudy HQ. In this week's episode, we're going to be cooking. So we are here in the bus station. Hiya. It's all good. So glad I was recording that. Come in, join me for dinner. Right, cool. We've just passed through the beautiful town of Yarmouth after emerging from the woods with our mushrooms. And I have to say, I think Yarmouth has the best Christmas lights of anywhere on the island, and I've been around the whole place, so I need to get some dinner cooked. We've got some of the most choice edible mushrooms that you can get in autumn, winter, and I'm going to ruin them because I have nothing to sort of cook them in, no butter, no oil, no salt, no seasoning. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the cold lamb that Abby gifted me and just put it in with some mushrooms, fry it up, and then we need to get going. There's about 9.5 miles to go in the dark before I get to where I want to sleep tonight. I am rushing because there is some weather potentially closing in. I can feel it in the air. It's not forecast, but where we're going is really exposed. Look at that, there's still a bit of sea beet left in there. Add that for seasoning. Just going to add some leftover roast lamb in there like that. Our best course of action is to put these bluets in, purely because bluets have got a lot of water content. So as they cook through, they'll release some of that water and maybe make it into like a sort of stew. Who knows? Beautiful. This is a disgusting waste of some of the best mushrooms in the world. The only thing that would be the worst than this is if I would just grate truffle on the top of it as well. So there is no water fountain here in Yarmouth, so I had to go into the shop and buy this bottle of water. And I've just had a 25-minute long conversation with a bloke about ancient monuments and the distances between them and his ideas on sort of like geometry and things. It's very interesting. I could have stayed there and chatted to him for hours. So we are walking from here around the coastline, up over the Needles, down that dramatic cliff line that you might not be able to see in the dark, and then hopefully to sleep somewhere near Freshwater Bay. As soon as I set off, it started raining. Look at this. It's really coming down as well. Oh, man. This camera's not waterproof, so I'm going to have to put you away for a minute. Try not to fall off the edge. Come on, legs. You guys.
And back up to get the camera.
Please don't hit me. That cloud looks incredibly dark and incredibly ominous. We've got this, which is Colwell Bay. We then round the corner into Totland, and then it's up and over one of the highest points on the island. And I really hope the weather doesn't come in. It's been such a day. So unbelievably cool. I am fully in love with this island again. From the fisherman last night that offered me a fishing rod, to the people this morning that checked in to see if I was okay when they saw me sleeping outside in December, thank you. Your kindness will get you real far. To the people that I chatted to at the bus stop just there with their kids who've been on a night out and were showing interest in what I was doing. Everyone that I've met this time around has been absolutely fantastic. And all set against the backdrop of unbelievable beauty. I have one more day's walking after this. Tomorrow is the solstice, the shortest day of the year. And from then on, things get a whole lot brighter. I have one more night out, one more day of walking. Stiffening up again. It's rough. It's a completely different sea to the one I woke up to this morning. Look at the power in that, man. It is boiling. This is a really nice place to come swimming in the summer. And it also has one of the poshest restaurants on the island. I've never been. And there it is. Boarded up. For the winter, probably. Let's not get hit by the wave off this grind. Jumping Jehoshaphat. Oh, there it is. Then we're good to go. No. All good fun. Beautiful beach hut. You like that sort of thing? What do you think? I wonder if a 9-foot dinghy would fit in that. Let's hope we don't get soaking wet. Big old blooming waves. We are walking along the promenade at Totland. This is the far end of it. It's a little bit less posh. Memory serves me right, there is a staircase that leads us up to the other side. A good-o, which I can tell you now, my legs are not looking forward to. Surfs up, bitches. I think we're out of the woods. We didn't get hit by a wave. That is the old Totland Bay lifeboat house with those beautiful windows. Hopefully, up here somewhere, there is a sign what says Coastal Park. Ouch. And that's when things started to go downhill. This next bit was quite difficult to watch back. Oh man. Big shout out to the National Trust, but could you make it a little bit less steep, you know, for like accessibility reasons? Everything is vertical. Oh man, my legs are so heavy. It's the final push for today though. We go up here and drop down into Allen Bay, then up onto the top, and then wind our way down to where I can rest my legs for a few hours. I'm slowing down unbelievably. The time is now 3 minutes past 10. Oh, ow. I left Yarmouth at like 6:30. 8:30, 9:30. It's 3 hours, man. It's really not a good going. Not for me anyway. So I'm tired, I think. Unsurprisingly. We are getting through it. We're picking our steps. Ask me again in a minute. This is bleak, man. I'm angry with myself. Don't know. Shouldn't have done so much on day one, I don't think. Shouldn't have exhausted myself. It's just sort of frustration starting to set in. Because I know this is going to take me twice as long as it should do. It's going to be twice as uncomfortable because of that. There's nothing I can do now, apart from just live with it. The gorse bushes are starting to look like people. And now through night's caressing grip, earth and all her oceans slip. Oh, it's just started raining. The J.L. Carr quote where he talks about Tennyson weather. We're up here on top of Tennyson Down. This is Tennyson weather. It's not drowsy, sunny afternoons. Bleak shit like this. You're getting soaked. We're up here in the dark and the rain! Clean you off a little bit. Oh, my mood has changed. And we're sheltering underneath this spiky gorse from the rain to see if it blows over, because this was not forecast. And I'm struggling, man. So a thing that I do if I'm on like a long distance walk, and I know that I might at some point have a lapse of motivation, is I write down on pieces of paper some stuff that might get me through. At times like this where everything seems dark, I can pull something out of the bag that might help me. Go on, you pick one. So I'm going to stick our hands in. Fingers are so cold. Can't even grab one. Let's see what it says. Can you read it? It says, pain must / will pass. Pain must pass. Pain must pass. I don't know if I can do this. Should have prepared more. I've found my limit, and that means that I know how I can improve. So I guess it's worthwhile. Pain must pass. Anyway, let's get down off this hillside, man. Oh! Someone help me out. Well, that's the mainland stretching out over there. I think that's Bournemouth somewhere in the distance, and Poole. And then here is the Needles. If you don't know what they look like, then give them a Google. I'm sorry that you couldn't see them in the daylight. Use your imagination. Oh, by the sense of humour lapse. This hurts. Next time, when we do this in the summer, and it's going to be a big you know, like 7-day jolly full of proper recipes and cooking outdoors and all of that sort of lovely shenanigans. You'll get to see the needles. I honestly cannot tell you how difficult it's been to get up here. It's just rained on and off constantly. I've had to get the old bin bag out and cover my bag up. But we have done it. Now, to begin the slow descent. Finally made it down off the hill. See you in the morning. This is horrible. I'm gonna have to call it. There's no two ways about it. Another failure. This is no joke. I came down off the top of the Tennyson Monument and I was freezing and my feet were really cold. But I was so exhausted that I just fell asleep here on the bench, just sat up, and I can't get warm again. My sleeping bag got damp when it was in my backpack because I didn't put the cover on time. I'm saying this always. So sad. So upset. So cold. So the plan is, I'm gonna go home now. I'm gonna get dry, I'm gonna warm myself up and I'm gonna have something to eat. And then either tomorrow morning or the day after, I'll be back to finish it. See you then. We're back at the bench. So what an adventure that was. It is now a few weeks later and I'm back at the bench. And it's a bit bittersweet really. When you last saw me, I was shivering and possibly the closest to hypothermia I've ever been in my life. Last time I was here, I had it in my head that I would be returning over the brow of that hill. Exhausted, having completed the challenge of walking round the coastal path on only wild food. And I failed over and over again. Glorious failures. But through failing, I learned so much and had so much fun. So the blister on the back of my foot was disgusting, and it soon became apparent that it was infected. There's some gruesome images coming up in a couple of seconds. So the blister was infected and that has taken ages to heal. That shoe, that shrunken shoe, really did a number on my left foot. That I'm sure you could tell by the way I was hobbling along. And even now, the toenail on my big toe is doing its best to fall off. As always, if you want to know more about foraging and wild food, check out the description below and head over to the Fieldstudy YouTube channel because there is videos going back years on how to identify some of the things that we met along the way. If you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be doing a live stream later on this week discussing all of the things that went wrong step by step. So if you hit subscribe, you'll be notified. But I know in my head that this challenge is possible and that I can do it. So keep your eyes peeled because in a few weeks' time, I'm going round again. Come on then. You must be mad, Joseph.